flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to welcome all here this evening. First on the agenda tonight is approval of our minutes from our meeting on October 23rd. They have been distributed. Are there any additions, deletions, or corrections? Hearing none, we need a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion approved. We have a second.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. We're going to shift it around just a minute and go down to regular business. Recommendation to approve retirement of K-9 Jack. Yes, sir. Chief.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. K-9 Jack, after working over 6 years, has reached the point where he needs to be medically retired, as confirmed by our veterinarian. Dak's handler, Officer Joe Thompson, advises that he would like to get the custody of Dak and keep him as a pet. Officer Thompson would assume full responsibility for the care and maintenance of Dak at that point. Staff is recommending that you approve the retirement of K-9 Dak and award custody of him to Officer Joe Thompson. I'd be happy to answer any questions, or perhaps Joe could answer one.
Any questions from the commission?
You just can't give him up, can you? He's too good a boy.
We understand, Joe.
Too good looking.
We appreciate you taking him and doing that. So we need a motion.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Good luck. Dak, we thank you for your service, buddy. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Thank you. Now we'll go back up to the top. First reading of public hearing of proposed ordinances. Ordinance 25-36.
Yes, sir. Ordinance 25-36, an ordinance of the City of Punta Garden, Florida, amending Chapter 78, Article Roman 2, Water and Sanitary Sewer Systems of the City of Punta Garden Code of Ordinances by amending Section 78-59 to modify water and wastewater impact fee amounts, adopt methodology for water and wastewater impact fees, and other related amendments, providing for conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Ordinance 25-36 amends Chapter 78, as Kurt said, to increase wastewater, water, and irrigation impact fees. These fees were last updated in 2011 and probably should have been increased yearly at a rate of inflation, but unfortunately that was not in the code at that time. As we discussed in the workshop, staff believes we have an extraordinary circumstance with the major cost increases that we've seen associated with state mandates and the substantial growth in our city. The state is also requiring us to meet nutrient pollution reductions and build more facilities for our reclaimed water. And these fees will be used to help pay for those projects. Staff would request that the board find that we do have an extraordinary circumstance and approve ordinance 25-36 with the second reading and adoption scheduled for December 11th. Happy to answer any questions.
And Mayor, if I could, I think
Yes, sir.
this would require unanimous approval by the commission in order to have it effective. That's correct.
Correct. Yes, sir. Thank you. Questions from the commission?
So Kurt, does that mean 5 commissioners or just the majority that's here tonight?
No, it's all 5 of the commissioners.
So can we vote on it tonight if Lisa's not here?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought we had 5. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can.
Mr.
I'm
Floyd
sorry.
was here.
I counted John as a commissioner.
Any questions from the commission?
Well, he's an attorney, not a mathematician.
Okay, this is a public hearing, so we will open the public hearing if anyone wishes to speak. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, and
I'll just have a comment. I missed the workshop. However, I had a very unique discussion with a respected businessman from Winter Garden. And while I agree with his point that we should do like 3 to 4% a year, found out, Steve, that state law, what is the rules on state law with this? We can only do it.
Well, if we increase it tonight, we'll be locked into this rate for 4 years. We can't increase it again for 4 years.
Okay. And inflation is between 5 to 8%.
well, this is even worse than inflation.
Yeah.
That's the issue.
And when was the last time we increased it? Was that?
2011.
Okay, so to the businessman's point, we should have done it then, but we can't look backwards, hindsight's
Even
2020.
with that, in 2022, correct me if I'm wrong here, but in 2022, when they looked at what the cost to do this was $46 million. Today it's 133.
Yes,
3
oh,
years.
absolutely.
And most of that is because of the government of the ladder sitting out regulations to the tune of $99,500,000. So the check should be coming soon.
Well, I would be in favor of 50%, Mayor, because if we don't, we're gonna be held in for 4 years, and with the inflation being unknown, even if it stayed at 8 times 4, we're not gonna be able to do anything for 4 years if we do it. So I'm in favor of going big or going home.
Okay, and this is for new development. Okay, we need a motion.
Would you like that in a motion, Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Attorney, would you tell me what I need to do, advise me on the legal ease?
I move to approve.
I move to approve.
Extraordinary circumstances.
Oh.
Steve did make a good point, so that there's no question, even though the ordinance provides for extraordinary circumstances, you could say, move to approve due to extraordinary circumstances.
I'll say what the city manager said, move to approve due to extraordinary circumstances. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. So we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Ordinance 25-37.
Yes, sir. Ordinance 25-37, an ordinance of the city of Winter Garden, Florida, rezoning approximately 15.99 plus minus acres located at 530, 550, 570, 590, 610, and 630 East Crown Point Road, generally located north of Crown Park Circle, west of East Crown Point Road, south of Crown Point Cross Road, and east of Susan B. Britt Court from C-2 Arterial Commercial District to PCD, planned commercial development, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. So this is a request to rezone the properties located at 530, 550, 570, 590, 610, and 630 East Crown Point Road to a planned commercial development zone. The vacant 5.99 acre subject property is currently zoned C2 Arterial Commercial and has a multi-use development future land use designation. The applicant is requesting to rezone the property to PCD to permit the development of 9 commercial, warehouse, and flex-use spaces, as well as build the associated site improvements such as parking, open spaces, and landscaping. The 5 buildings that will front on East Crown Point Road are intended to be more commercial in nature, with permitted uses to include such uses as retail, professional office, restaurants, and other such commercial operations, while the 4 buildings in the rear will be more flex office light industrial in nature, which is consistent with the uses on the adjacent properties to the west, directly adjacent to them. So staff has reviewed the application and recommends approval of PCD ordinance 25-37. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from the commission? This is a public hearing. We will open the public hearing if anyone wishes to speak. You give your name and address, please.
Hello, I'm Catherine Zaleski. I'm at 1357 Hunterman Lane in Chapman Station, just about half a mile away. I wanted to speak against the motion to rezone the 16-ish acres at East Crown Point Road because there's already about roughly hundreds of thousands of open and available industrial space that's currently available or will be available in Q1 of 2026. That is Crown Point Circle Road, Hennis Road, and East Crown Point Road. All of them have anywhere from 12,000 space available to 80,000 feet spaces available. I do believe that the commercial part of the zoning is accurate, and I would love to see something developed there. I just don't see a need for any more industrial spaces or warehouse spaces. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? We'll close the public hearing. Can you address the the industrial space, and if this was all commercial, what the difference would be as far as traffic and use?
Likely if it was all commercial, the traffic impact would probably be a little bit greater, because typically with industrial sites, you have a lot of storage spaces, a lot of that square footage is kind of eaten up by space that isn't, offices, or gonna have a lot of people kind of going in and out on a day-to-day basis, so I think the traffic impacts would be greater if it was all commercial versus some light industrial. We tried to make it consistent with the area and keeping that frontage all commercial, so you'll have your restaurants, you'll have your shops, you'll have your, neighborhood convenience type stores. But in the rear, where you don't have the road frontage, it is adjacent to additional industrial facilities, to the west. And so again, we're trying to kind of create that transition zone from more commercial along the street to more industrial in the back. And the property owner has indicated that, this is what they see will work for the market and work for this area, so that's what they're proposing.
Is it zone commercial today?
It is zone C2 commercial today, yes.
And what are the uses that could go in there without any approval from the commission today, so you could express that?
Sure. Any range of commercial uses, including restaurant, professional office, medical office, personal services, retail, pretty much every commercial use you can think of, other than drive-through restaurants, which would need a special exception, and mini warehousing, which would need a special exception, and automobile sales and service, which would need a special exception. But pretty much every other commercial type use would be permitted in C2.
So from what you're saying, the commercial will bring more traffic because it'll be more in and out in a constant basis versus industrial.
Potentially, yeah. With the ITE manual, which is where, you have different use categories that has different traffic volumes. Warehousing has a lower traffic volume typically than let's say, if all of that square footage was utilized for office. And so, yeah, you would potentially, we haven't run the calculations, but potentially you would have a greater traffic impact if it was all developed.
Would it be okay to ask, Mayor, if the citizens' concern was just the industrial use or the traffic and access, or?
She sounded like she was okay with commercial, but I understand it was industrial, but I think, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I'm really just hoping to keep Winter Garden the Winter Garden that we all know and love. And I think that bringing more industrial warehouses and spaces, especially when there's so much already open and around and available to businesses, that it just doesn't seem like it's a good choice.
And just to clarify, the type of industrial that would be allowed at this facility would be light industrial. So you're not talking about heavy manufacturing, where you're gonna have a constant stream of semi-trucks in and out. It's gonna be a lot of, office with some accessory type storage, or, spaces of that nature. So it's really, it's kind of that type of industrial that's right on the line between commercial and industrial, which is that light industrial, and so that's why we thought it was appropriate in this area.
Okay. Any other questions for the commission? What's your pleasure?
Well, Mayor, I'm gonna be just directed. I have not had a chance to look at any site plan or overlay to make a decision, and so I'm not prepared to vote one way or the other without, if it was typical residents that have any concerns. Is there a rendering in the packet?
There is.
And maybe you're allowed to.
Yep. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. And maybe even because Lisa's not here, we might even postpone. I don't know if that would impact the project.
Everybody speak.
Absolutely.
Because I saw the renderings and created this commercial and office space. I'm pretty familiar with that kind of space, and I believe it would be a good addition for that area. Because of the space there it is, and the fact that 429 is right around the corner. So a lot of the people that work in these kind of warehouses, office spaces, they usually are from out of town, so I don't think it's gonna be much of an impact on the traffic. And the fact that the highway is right there is a very convenient, and it's very, it's a specialized area for that kind of a project, I believe. The renderings are very nice, the front area, the renderings that I saw were very appealing, so they don't look like just warehouses. So on that, I just think it's, I think it would be a good addition for that area.
So Colin, just to go through the site plan real quick, this is East Crown Point Road here, located on this side. This is Crown Point Cross Road. This is the west area here. So again, along the frontage, you'll have they're proposing a 2-story office building, a commercial building, a series of commercial buildings, office flex. Towards the rear, this is the west side of the site. All of these properties that are located adjacent to it are all light industrial zoned. So again, you have that transition between the commercial against the road and the industrial that is located directly adjacent to it to the west. They are proposing a series of buildings, but through this PCD process, we were able to have them provide a greater level of architectural detailing. So just to give you an example, here are some of the renderings that will be included in the PD. So this is that building. You can see there's a key here. So this is one of the buildings against the road. This is the side elevation of that building. These are going to be the two technically industrial buildings in the back, the flex spaces, light industrial. But again, you can see they look very commercial in nature and maybe used more commercially. So these are the you can see here. These are some more of the commercial buildings that are adjacent to the road. Some more commercial buildings. This is actually one of the warehouse buildings that is located in the rear. As you can see, it does not look like your typical warehouse industrial building. They have a higher level of architectural detailing, and it actually looks like a commercial building to me.
So it doesn't look like the typical industrial that we have in my garden.
That we grew up with.
Again, I don't know the citizen's mind, but I would agree that the Diamond R and those other industrial sites that we have, instead of them being re-rented as is, I think we should take her comments and concerns and make sure that we have the sites upgraded as those become something different, or have the opportunity to. Because this certainly does look like a nice building. I don't know if you've seen the renderings, ma'am, or not. No. All right. I don't.
When it's light industrial, it's just different than, it's nice looking building.
Okay, Commission, what's your pleasure?
So I move to approve ordinance 2537 with a second reading on December 11th.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Again.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? Let's just push it to the second meeting.
Okay, so we will have a second reading on this. If there's any specific concerns that you have, please reach out
Get
to
with Kelly.
our staff. And what we try to do is address aesthetics or concerns, and we really try for our citizens here in our garden.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Ordinance 25-38.
Yes, sir. Ordinance 25-38, an ordinance of the City of Punta Garden, Florida, amending Chapter 118, zoning, Article Roman 2, Division 4, to add a new section 118-136 to establish regulations and procedures for certified recovery residences, including a process for requesting reasonable accommodation as required by Chapter 2025-182, laws of Florida, providing for definitions, providing for a reasonable accommodation process in accordance with federal and state law, providing for application requirements, review procedures and deadlines, providing for revocation and reinstatement, providing for severability, providing for codification, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. This is a request to approve ordinance 25-38, which would amend City Code Chapter 118, Article 2, Division 4, to add a new section 118-136 to establish regulations and procedures for certified recovery residences, including a process for requesting reasonable accommodation as required by Chapter 2025-182 laws of Florida. The purpose of this ordinance is to conform to the regulations of this chapter, which requires that cities adopt a process for approving reasonable accommodations for certified recovery residences. So to be consistent with state law, we are requesting approval of ordinance 25-38, and that is our application. Do you have any other questions?
So what happens if we don't do this?
Mayor, the statute does not expressly provide for a consequence if we do not do so. However, it would, in my opinion, give a complainant, somebody that made a request, an opportunity to say we're not in compliance with state law, which actually only refers back to the Fair Housing Act and the ADA for those standards. So it gives us really a little bit more control, but it would put us in I think, a disadvantage from a litigation standpoint in the future. This is following the law, but giving us about the most amount of control we could have within the context of that law. So again, there is no express consequence, but the risks to the city are greater if we do not approve it.
Okay. It's just another instance, in my humble opinion, of the state dictating,
Absolutely.
to the cities what we will and will not do all the time. It just,
Yep.
get tired.
Agreed.
So, questions from the commission?
I happen to agree with the mayor's statement about that. Federal and state government dictating when the local folks are best to deserve their local needs. I think our federal counterparts are both parties are in that what's in it for me and not for the average Joe, and we're gonna prove how powerful we are by dictating.
Yeah. So, okay, this is a public hearing. We will open the public hearing if anyone wishes to speak. We will close the public hearing. We need a motion.
Move for the approval of ordinance, reluctantly remove. With the approval of ordinance 2604 with
Second reading of public hearing.
on December 11th.
So-
Reluctantly.
Okay, do we have a second?
2538.
2538.
2538. You heard me right, John, it's 2538.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried unanimously. Thank you, ma'am. Ordinance 26-04.
Yes, sir. Ordinance 26-04, an ordinance of the City of Winter Garden, Florida, amending ordinance 25-33, the City of Winter Garden fiscal year 2025 through 2026 budget to carry forward prior year appropriations, providing for severability and an effective date with revenues as follows. General Fund, $46,102,152. Community Redevelopment Agency Fund, $5,782,553. Law Enforcement Grants Fund, $21,054. Local Option Gas Tax Fund, $450,000. General Impact Fee Fund, $2,620,063. Transportation Impact Fee Fund, $5,285,133. Capital Projects Fund, $2,458,593. Utilities Operating Fund, $25,265,536. Utilities Impact Fee Fund, $594,297. Utilities Renewal and Replacement Fund, $225,000. Stormwater Fund, $7,092,331. Solid Waste Fund, $53,691. Trailer City Fund, $4,000 for total revenues of $95,954,403 for the expenditures, itemized identically as the revenues.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This ordinance amends the current year budget to carry forward prior year appropriations that were not fulfilled last fiscal year. So this would allow us to be able to have the funding to continue those projects next fiscal year. So staff would be available for any questions that you may have, and we recommend approval.
Any questions from the commission? Once again, this is a public hearing. We will open a public hearing if anyone wishes to comment. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing, and we need a motion.
Motion for approval of ordinance 2604.
Second reading of public hearing on December 11th. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, ma'am. Regular business, recommendation to approve purchase order with Brightview for landscaping. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. This is our Marsh Road project. This is the final leg. We did the traffic calming, the widening, And this is a landscape proposal by Brightview to add landscaping to the median, or to the roundabout at the Hickory Hammock entrance. Extend the landscaping along Twin Waters on the south side, and then add some traffic calming landscaping along Marsh Road further west towards Vizcaya Boulevard. The Brightview team will install landscape and irrigation along the corridor to beautify and assist with the traffic calming measures between the Avalon Road and Williams. Staff would recommend approving a PO to Brightview for landscaping and irrigation along Marsh Road in the amount of $195,195.81, with an additional $27,590.07 for an additional 3 months of tree watering, for a total amount of $222,785.88. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Just a dumb question, the irrigation that water the trees?
Yes, sir. So,
That was my question too. Not the same way.
You're gonna put more water into your building.
well, the roundabout, we're gonna connect to the Hickory Hammock irrigation system. And then on Twin Waters, we're gonna connect to their irrigation system as well. But the trees that are further west are gonna be standalone without a connection to the irrigation, so we're gonna use water bags. And then that's a little labor intensive. It's folks coming each time with a little water buffalo to fill the bags, so that it'll be a total of 6 months of watering with that extra additional 3 months.
So what happens after that? The trees are not gonna be watered? Except for rain?
Correct. They should be established by that time, and then natural rainfall will.
And irrigation will cost how much?
We did not price irrigation connecting to the.
You have any idea, 50,000, 100,000? I'm just curious.
The irrigation is in sections, so it's a long way along Marsh. I would guess probably closer to the 50 number.
Will it be cheaper than the wall we did for the fire station? So the goal is that the trees establish a root base that'll be deep enough to survive on rain, and they are somewhat drought or climate chosen trees for our natural environment.
Yes.
That's what they're banking on.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know the number of trees, 20,000 more. Anyway, I didn't do the study, so I'm just looking at it from a.
You've grown a lot of trees in your career, Mayor. They just had oranges on them.
Come see what we would do. We would irrigate. Okay, any questions from the commission? Need a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion to approve. We have a second. Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Recommendation to approve a purchase order with T.D. Thompson. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. This is a request after the demo of 141 Roper Road to now install 2 new storm structures and piping to Dr. Bradford Park to alleviate the hydraulic pressure in the existing 72-inch line that goes from downtown into the park, and additionally collect the rainwater in that section of the neighborhood to take some stress off the existing system. Staff would recommend approving a PO to T.D. Thompson for the Roper Drive stormwater improvements in the amount of $241,381.80, and I'll be happy. I'm sorry, it does include a 10% contingency, so I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the commission?
So right now, the Roper Road kind of slopes down a little bit towards, it goes into a slope when it slopes. So the house is gonna collect the water that comes from this area, from the west, I would say. So when it comes this way, on this other road, which I can remember the name, how is it gonna be this way? What are you guys gonna do to bring from both sides, or just, it's gonna be just one area that's gonna be collecting? I mean, I'm just thinking how the water will run, because it goes down for the most part.
Okay, and so the,
Trying to mention the streets.
so the main trunk line that comes from downtown, the large 72, it goes through into Bradford, and these smaller side streams they connect to that pipe, and what happens when there's a lot of rain and very intense rainfalls, the water starts to back up, and then those inlets no longer collect stormwater, and therefore it runs over through the yards. What we intend to do is add a pipe, which is like a relief at one inlet, and then have that pipe go to Dr. Bradford Park, and then change the inlet top to what's called a ditch bottom inlet, so it's flat. It does a better job of collecting more water. And as a third step, when we get that pipe in the ground and covered again, we're gonna do a slight swale. It'll be barely visible, but it will give the water an avenue to go to Dr. Bradford Park overland flow. So, 3 problems we think this will solve the issue that we have where water is flowing from other people's yards. It'll now flow through this pipe and along the area where that used to be the house.
Are you gonna go tomorrow morning and tell Bob we're putting a big ditch in with some rocks and cut the tree down?
So no, we did, we're gonna have to lift the trees, just a couple of branches on the west side. We did design it so we would avoid that tree, and it's a very nice, large, healthy tree.
Yeah.
We're gonna do everything we can to minimize the impacts of that. I have talked to Bob. That's why I said slight swale on the previous question.
Okay, any other questions? We need a motion.
Motion to approve the TD Thompson construction. On the road.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carries unanimously. Thank you, sir. Recommendation to approve hiring process control services. Yes.
Unfortunately, on August 28th, Palmetto Water Treatment Plant was struck by lightning, which caused substantial damage throughout it. We've been working to fix everything. One of the largest problems is that our computer system and software were severely damaged. So we're submitting these invoices to our insurance company, but I'm bringing it in front of the board because of the cost of it, just in case they don't cover 100% of it. Software is the same as what we've installed on all the lift stations. Just so you know, all of those lift stations that we kept having all communication failures with, we've had 0 since we've got them.
Approved. Stop talking.
We've spent years trying to put the whole system.
You didn't get that, did Steve?
I did, but I would just do one more thing. We've spent years trying to put every one of our water, wastewater lift stations all on the same system, and this will actually do it.
Wow, that's great.
So it was already approved, I guess, for $123,515.69.
So moved as stated by
Is that a motion?
the assistant
That's a
city
motion.
manager.
Do you have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Thank you, Steve.
Aye.
Good job.
Opposed? Motion carried unanimously.
You had me at 0 issues.
Okay, yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The CrowdStrike Option Complete and SEAM licensing agreement is due to be renewed. Renewing would allow us to continue utilizing CrowdStrike Option Complete as well as other information security related software and services. The cost of the renewal is $109,999.99 and is included in this year's fiscal budget. With that, staff recommends renewing the CrowdStrike licensing agreement, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the commission?
Well, I just want to say that is something that is definitely a need. Having been a victim of a malfunction in software hijacking and all that is definitely the movie factor.
Absolutely.
Definitely something that needs to be done.
That sounds like a motion.
We got a motion?
Yes.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, sir. Now dispensed is the City Commission and continuing as Community Redevelopment Agency. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. The Dyson Plaza shell construction is 94% complete, with 2 remaining items left. The undergrounding of a 3-phase electrical connection, including the transformer and installation of a canopy awning over the building's front entrance. Original construction estimate did not include these items. Duke Energy will provide and install the required three-phased electrical power connection at a cost of $43,755.59. Regarding the canopy awning, 3 quotes were obtained, and the quote from Awnings Direct LLC was selected as the lowest, most suitable bidder. The installation of the exterior awning, the canopy awning, will cost $14,299. The total combined cost of this change order is $58,054.59. With that, staff recommends motion to approve authorizing the city manager to execute the Dyson's Plaza shell construction change order in the amount of $58,054.59. Happy to answer the questions.
Questions from the board? Mr. Kaplan, Ms. Wilder, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, your Community Redevelopment Advisory Board met and discussed this, and this is one situation where I can't say that there was a unanimous vote to approve it. There were two abstentions or 2 negative votes. The issue predominantly revolved around the fact that these items were missed originally when the project was priced out, and they're coming back now to collect the money. The issue that a couple of our members had dealt with trying to recover some of these costs from some party who may have some culpability in this thing, but the majority of the board felt like $53,000 would probably be eaten up. $58,000 would be consumed quite quickly in legal fees and all the other rigmarole that you go through to try to establish whose fault it might have been. So we're this close on Dyson's project, it's better just to push it over to the finish line and get her done and move forward with East Winter Garden redevelopment. So your advisory board did approve 5-2 the bringing this to you and recommending approval. Any other questions or any questions?
Okay.
That's interesting, because I missed the water presentation. It sounds a lot like a similar scenario where you're looking backwards and making changes today for stuff. Interesting how things flow together.
In an ideal world, you'd probably go maybe handle it a little differently, but
Yeah.
you have to deal with what you got.
Okay. We need a motion.
Mayor Reese and Commission, the recommendation to approve and authorize city manager execute a change of order for the Dyson Plaza shell construction for the 3-phase electrical connection and canopy on its installation in the amount of $58,459.
Okay.
I'll second that.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Anything else, Ms. Wilder, discuss? Or
Ms. Waller, you got any more comments?
Not really, but it seems that things are going quite well, and we can appreciate those who are working with it. Well, you know,
I'm good, Ms. Wilder.
you're good?
okay.
Okay. Mr. Hudson, anything else, sir?
Item coming up.
Okay.
That was
Do we have
stand by.
anything on this you want to?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you. We will now dispense as the CRA and reconvene as our city commission. Thank you all. Okay, recommendation to approve special events, small business Saturday.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The Small Business Saturday event is promoted nationwide to encourage shopping at local mom and pop commercial establishments. Merchants will have products for sale on the sidewalk to inspire holiday purchases. An event will also feature live music entertainment at the Centennial Plaza between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. With that, staff recommends approval of a small business Saturday special event to take place all day downtown on Saturday, November 29, 2025. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the commission? Good thing, so we need a motion.
Motion to approve special event.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Motion second, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you, sir. Special event, waive application fee for 2026 annual spring fever. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. The Blooming Grove Garden Society is requesting approval to hold their annual Spring Fever in the Garden event in downtown Winter Garden on Saturday, April 11th and Sunday, April 12th, 2026. The event will run from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday and 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. on Sunday. It will feature garden, nature, wildlife-related merchandise vendors, a small number of food and drink vendors, entertainment zone, chalk art competition, kids zone, and amplified music throughout downtown. Staff recommends approval of the Spring Fever in the Garden event and the waiver of the application fee in the amount of $1,000. We have the next question.
Any questions? We need a motion.
Motion to approve the special event and waive the application for the annual Spring Fever in the Garden, Blooming Grove, April 11, 2012.
Okay, we have a motion approved, we have a second.
Second.
We have a motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Mr. Mayor, would like to request addition of another request for a special event on December 14th that is being hosted by the Chabad Winter Garden. They host their annual Hanukkah celebration, which includes menorah lighting, music, refreshments, prizes, and some sort of entertainment to be held again on December 14th in the Butterfly Garden. I would also like to include a request to waive any fees associated with this event as well, and staff would be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Any questions from the commission? It was a good event last year, the year before. It's grown. We need a motion.
So,
Motion to approve.
second.
Motion is second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Matter from citizens of Winter Garden. Give your name and address, please, sir.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Edwin Morales, and I live at 951 Copenhagen Way, Winter Garden, Florida. The reason for this information that I am going to submit to you is that I have been, experiencing a flooding situation since I moved in Sterling Point in 2001. The problem is getting worse every year. New constructions and digging under the ground back easement has affected the area. This is located in Beula Road between Myrtle Avenue and Copenhagen Way. However, it originates at Palm Avenue. In addition, there is accumulation of trash, garbage in this area. When it rains, water accumulates coming from these areas, flooding my back, right, and left yard. The water travels all the way to the backyard and reaches to the left and right side of my house. Also, my right and left neighbors are affected. I installed corrugated drain pipes on each side of my house in order to alleviate this problem. However, I have not been successful because the water is coming from the easement back outside of my property. Also, I have replaced 2 wooden fences affected by the mold that had been damaged by the flood. In front of my house, the water also accumulates because the pavement is not in position that would allow the water to reach the stormwater stream drain. I must periodically utilize a pressure washer to clean the front of my house due to the remaining stain of the water, including the sidewalks. My fear is with the accumulation of the water during the years will affect the foundation of my house. I moved there in 2001. It's also important to notice that the flooding and the sitting of the water brings other problems like mosquitoes, dengue, and other diseases. My wife and I have serious medical conditions, and this situation could affect our health. Currently, there are 3 stormwater drains located at the easement back outside of my property. When the water accumulates, it does not reach the last stormwater drain that is located at the front entrance right section of Sterling Point. This might alleviate the accumulation of water. On September 28, 2020, I'm sorry to say this, but I wrote a letter regarding to my situation to Mr. John Reese, the mayor of Winter Garden, and has been unsuccessful. I have a copy of the letter and the U.S. Postal receipt if needed. On April 11, 2023, I wrote a letter to Mrs. Betsy Vanderley, the Orange County Commissioner, and also has been unsuccessful. I have a copy of the letter and the U.S. Postal receipts if needed. In April 7, 2022, I wrote a letter to the former U.S. Senator Marcos Rubio, and also has been unsuccessful. As you know, he's now with the Department of State. I wrote a copy of the letter and the U.S. Postal receipt if needed. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. My wife and my family would appreciate if you could help me in this matter. I have a brochure here, and I have the same photos that I sent before by mail, so you could take a look at all the scenario that I've been going through all these years. So, if you allow me, I could give this.
Whoa, Steve or Young?
Yeah.
Okay, you know about it, Steve, anything? Okay. Or right there behind you, if you'll hand that book.
To who?
Oh, raise your hand.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, make sure you get their contact.
Please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, because back in the Bay St. Letter, when they passed it up there, somebody may have looked, I don't remember. But, giving it to our staff, then we can come out and take a look and see what's going on.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yes.
very much.
Sorry about that.
In this matter.
Are these your neighbors that have a similar scenario?
Yes.
Okay.
If you'll give your name and address,
Yeah.
please.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. We're here on behalf of Sterling Homeowners Association, and to piggyback off of one of our fellow neighbors, we've been having issues with our roads since, I've been there since 2001. We've been on the board I've been on the board for the past 3 years, the head of the board, and this is vice president and the director. And we here to just voice our concerns with getting our roads repaved. We've been having issues with his yard over floods. We have major dents in the road. We've never had the roads we've paved since we've been there. I've been there since 2001. I think we've all been there.
There's cracks, there's dents, just like there's accumulation of water in these conflicts in the subdivision once you enter. It's one small circle.
I'm sorry, I want to say, let's get our staff to come out there and ride it and take a look.
So we'll touch base with you.
If you come get us again.
It keeps raising.
Also, yeah, adjacent to the community, we have a real hazard, where a major ditch, where anyone could get injured, and we've had situations in the past, and we've been trying to get some type of railing or something to put up there to assist with that area, so no one would get injured walking around that area, so.
And also kids, my name is President Dorset. I'm also a board member elected for about 21 years. And also we have a lot of kids that play near where the ditch is. So it's very unsafe for the kids because the park is located right next to where that ditch is as well too. So we're hoping that we can get some help to solve our issues.
Let us get out and take a look.
Yeah.
Did you give City Clerk your name and address and phone number? Yeah, we did, so we get your name and phone number so we can contact you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We did that. Thank you all.
All right.
Thank you. Anyone else? Matters to City Attorney.
Pass, Mayor, thank you.
City Manager.
Yeah, a couple items. Mark's going to come up and do a update on the projects that are ongoing in the historic East Winter Garden, and I have a couple questions on that.
So,
have a great opportunity here to provide an update on the historic East Winter Gardens, particularly two particular projects that we're excited about. One being the Dyson's Plaza Commercial Revitalization Project, as well as the Legacy Home Rehabilitation Pilot Program. Ultimately, these two projects are funded by the CRA under the advisement of the CRAB Board. And you know, with that also includes the special acknowledgement to Orange County for their ongoing support to ensure that CRA is funded for various initiatives. So really, let's just kind of walk through real quick on what's going on with Dyson's. So Dyson's, the background there is, you know, as you're all familiar with, it's a fourth generation family-owned business since 1939. There's a redevelopment work set aside to kind of improve the interior and exterior of the building shell, as well as the site work improvements for the parking lot, paving, outdoor dining, outdoor seating, as well as landscape. The square footage of the building is about 2,300, right? It previously was basically a 3-unit building. Now it will be converted to a 2-unit building, allowing expansion for a potential restaurant, and the second unit would be a retailer. So some progress have been made, and happy to share sort of the after pictures. Pretty impressive work. Thanks to Mr. Steve Pash, who's been kind of trying to land this plane. But there's a frontage there moving from left to right on the photos, where you have the outdoor dining area, and that's sort of facing north. And then to the right, you have the side of the building, which gives you a different perspective of the outdoor dining area, with some improved electrical work done to the side of the building. Here, some other additional photos, moving from left to right, some placement for some trees, and that's kind of facing south which is really from the back of the building to the right, as well as when you sort of step back, you see the area where we have some ADA accessible parking, sort of facing south. And then this interesting contraption in the back, sort of to the right of the building, facing the front of the building, is this Moloch garbage receptacle, which is partially underground, which allows for our smallest signature in the garbage storage, but also it does a really fantastic job of containing the smell. So as you can see in the illustration to the right, most of the containers underground, where all the garbage is generally hidden. So the project's about 95% complete, with just a few remaining items left regarding the electrical connections, installation of an awning, some landscaping, and striping of the parking surface. So we're happy that we're almost there, rounding the corner for Dyson's, and so some good progress being made there. The second item is the Legacy Home Rehabilitation Program. Yes, another CRA-funded project, but in this case, we're also partnering with Rebuild Together Central Greater Florida, which is the administrator of the program and also essentially the GC or the contractor. We also are in partnership with One Winter Garden, which does a phenomenal job with the outreach. We have had 3 or 4 different outreach sessions, application assistance events, and they've been instrumental in assisting homeowners with the application process and helping to sort of explain the program. So we're pretty proud of that partnership as well. The overall Legacy program, just to kind of step back, is to bring improvement to homeowners' homes, residences, to focus on improving the health and safety of the home, add better quality of life, as well as extend and even add value to the home. So this is a monumental effort to really try and bring some value and raise the standard for the quality of life and living for our residents in the historic East Winter Garden neighborhood. There's some criteria involved in order to qualify, some of which has to do with an owner-occupied home with homestead exemption, some income requirements. The home generally has to be within the CRA footprint or within the historic East Winter Garden neighborhood. So, as we consider kind of launching into the full program, which will target basically 15 to 20 homes each year, with funding at about up to $50,000 for the home repairs, we thought it was prudent to kind of walk the walk of doing a pilot to really understand what we were getting involved with and certainly understand the process and make improvement, especially walking alongside for the first time with a partner, and just wanted to make sure there was absolute diligence in the process. So we took the route of doing a 4-home pilot to focus on 4 homes under the same criteria, and so now we're going to give you an update on those 4 homes and where things are. Here's kind of a quick snapshot of the application pipeline. So we had 34 applications come in to date. We had 10 decline, and some of the declines were really related to some issues with some of the liens. Some income requirements weren't met. Of the 34, we have 20 applications that are currently under review and pre-approved. 9 are currently under review, and 11 were pre-approved. And then of that pre-approved 11, we have 4 homes that are currently in the works under construction. So now we're going to talk about these 4 homes. So the first pilot home I introduced to you, Miss Janet Gilbert, who is located at 1100 Lincoln Terrace. This home was built in 1962 with an interior-exterior budget of $34,000, and it's 80% complete. We're really impressed with the lightning clip at which this process has taken place and how much has occurred. And we're quite enamored with the Rebuild Together operation. Some of the slated improvements include masonry work to replace tile flooring, which had gaps and pockets that affected about 50% of the area within the home. Some plumbing, which is a shower to tub conversion of a master bath, and sort of keeping it in line with ADA requirements. So there's some carpentry work, HVAC, electrical, extermination because there was some infestation of insects, and then exterior painting. So here's a look at some of the before and after pictures. And so what's notable there is the bathroom, the before picture, which was a shower, and then to the right in the after, it's now a tub, ADA, and wide enough to accommodate all the ADA requirements. And some of the progress work done on the flooring. There's some repairs done on the roof, and then some insulation work, and then installation of a vent exhaust over the cooking range. The pilot home number 2, I introduced to you the Jeffersons, Mr. and Mrs. Lonnie Jefferson, located at 1120 Maxey Drive. This home was built in 1965. It's 70% complete. The approximate budget is $43,026. Some of the slated improvements include plumbing, which is the complete master bathroom renovation, which is moving from a tub to a shower this time within the ADA standards. Carpentry, replacement of kitchen cabinets, widening of the master bath doorway, bolstering some of the doors to ensure home security, electrical work, mold remediation, and roof replacement. Here are some before and after pictures. So we had, as part of the electric work, was the replacement of the window AC units and to upgrade to a more efficient AC units. We have the bathroom renovated, as well as some doors. The kitchen has been renovated with cabinets, and there was installation of a new microwave. The third pilot home I introduce you to Mr. John Rainey. He's located at 1441 East Bay Street. Now that is a beautiful home. A beautiful home only on the exterior. When you get into the insides and you take a look, there are hidden problems within the foundation and behind the walls. This home was built in 1951 with estimated interior and exterior cost of $44,765, and it's 80% complete. The pictures tell the story. It's sort of hard to tell just from the initial before pictures because a lot of the problems are really behind the walls and sort of under the foundation. But to the right, you're seeing the progress work where you see a lot of dark, you see wood rot, and you see under the foundation, and then there's some piping work that's on the exterior that was compromised, I think 90% blockage or 80% blockage. So they slated work for this home. Ultimately, as you can see, this is a complete overhaul around the home's foundation. It was compromised with the load-bearing joist at 9%. Plumbing work, structural framing repairs, flooring repairs for the bathroom. Nothing needed for the roof because the roof is pretty much pristine. And then some more continued work here for the foundation and remediation specific to the kitchen, and then below the bathroom. And then the fourth and final pilot home, which has not yet started, I introduced to you Miss Valerie Brown, located at 509 Bethune Avenue. The estimated cost there is $54,000. It has not been started yet because it's still kind of going through the permitting process, and there's some refinement on the cost to sort of bring it within that $50,000 threshold. We expect that to happen pretty soon. But some of the observations for work that needs to be done is masonry work, especially also around the framing and the outside with the siding, roof replacement, foundations, including the subfloor needing to be upgraded, electrical work, which is upgrading some of the AC units, heating and cooling. Right now, there's only an ability to cool, but no ability to heat. So now they'll have a unit that can do both and have some efficiencies. And then plumbing work, renovations to the bathroom and kitchen, and then making some ADA upgrades to the front entrance. So you can see that, it's pretty obvious that there's some dire on the exterior of the home, dire needs of attention and work. And so we look forward to work commencing here to bring some quality of life for this resident. So what we see as the next step is just to kind of complete the 4 pilot projects and then make some quick assessments about some lessons learned, refinement of the process, the relationship with rebuilding together, ways to sort of improve our, how we interact and partner with One Winter Garden, and certainly, implement any sort of recommendations or findings that come from this sort of internal assessment from lessons learned, trying to kind of improve the process. Happy to answer any other questions.
I think it's great, John. Doing a good job, moving fast, that's great. Questions? Nope. Thank you very much, sir, for your presentation. Thank you.
Couple more items, Mayor. We started off the night talking about wastewater, and I want to kind of conclude the night talking about wastewater, and I'm sure that every time I bring up that subject, every one of you cringe. But to quote Lee Corso, not so fast, my friends. So back in December 21st, 2024, the President signed the American Relief Act of 2025 into law, which included funding of about $88 billion in disaster supplement funding for water and wastewater facilities impacted by Hurricanes Helene and Milton, as well as the wildfires of Hawaii. Through our great team of Steve, Laura, Jim, and Rob, we submitted an SRF request for inclusion in the amount of $19,166,503. And we received word yesterday that we were approved. Through this process, this will provide for 50% of that amount to be forgiven excuse me, while the remaining amount will be in the form of a 0% loan. So if you recall back when we started down the road of expansion of the wastewater plant, one of the key focus areas that we were going to hone in on was grant funding, and I'm pleased to report today that we've received a total of $39.4 million in grant funding towards the wastewater treatment plant, of which ARPA is about $13 million, FDEP water quality at $15 million, we've got state appropriation monies at $1.75 million, and now this new amount of $9.5 million for this ARPA. So kudos to Steve, Laura, Jim, and Rob for all the hard work and efforts in trying to bring the cost of this construction down and seek some grant funding. So
Absolutely, thank you.
So lastly, I just want to wish everybody a very happy and healthy and safe Thanksgiving, since we will not meet before Thanksgiving. So, that's all I have.
Okay. Commissioner?
Thank you to the city for all your work and for all the first responders. And also just have a wonderful, blessed, and safe Thanksgiving.
Yes, staff, you do amazing work. Continue to do that and make our city beautiful. And I wish all of you, even our residents, a very happy holiday season.
Commissioner Sherman?
Well, one of the most valuable commodities we have is time, and I appreciate the time that our staff puts in. And Steve, I want to give you back time with your family tonight. When you said 0, you had me. You had me at 0. That was amazing. I don't know anybody else has done that. Thank you. That's all I got.
Okay. Last Tuesday was Veterans Day, so don't ever forget it. If you see veterans, not just that day, but tell them anytime you see them out and about, tell them thank you for their service and what they provide for us to be able to sit here and live in this wonderful country. So we thank all our veterans. And I guess everybody knows it was John's birthday yesterday. But, we just don't want to bypass that again. But I do hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. And with that, we will adjourn.